Hi everybody! So today I'm going to show you how to make King Bob's crown, designed by Jess Davies, also known as CraftLover17 on Instagram. So this is what it's going to look like. For King Bob, I didn't actually sew it on to King Bob's head. That's up to you. For my picture, I just used like a piece of a skewer and I put it on top, and that's how I secured it when I was taking a picture. So whatever you'd like to do, if you want to sew around it or do little slip knots, that's up to you. I will be making mine exactly like this one. So my main color here is the neon orange. So you want to pick the color. You might want to use a gold. This is your gold glitter. Or you can use your mango, whatever color you would like. These are the supplies that I'm going to be using. For the beads, I'm going to go over it next in the next part when we're going to thread the beads. But to quickly review, I'm using the fuchsia pink, glow-in-the-dark white, your neon orange. This is a gold bead. It's 7mm. Just used a 10mm, so it's up to you. If you don't have the bead, you can use like whatever color that you would like. This is gold, and I'll show you what to do with that after if you don't have the bead. You can even use like a different kind of bead, like some sort of something bigger. This one you're going to need 9 black E-beads threaded onto a single white band. You can use a 3mm black or an actual black band wrapped. That's up to you. This is what I used. And these ones are metallic beads that I found at Michael's. So they are 4mm. You're going to need 4 green threaded onto a single band, one band, or pick a green color band or something like that. You're going to need 4 green threaded onto double bands and 8 pink threaded onto double bands. So I'm going to get started, and I do hope you enjoy. Now to prepare our beads. I'm going to start off with this big gold one, a 7mm, 10mm, or something else that you would like. If you don't have this big bead, at the end, our last step, you can take 4 bands and just wrap it around twice by picking the color that you would like to use. If you can get it around 3 times, probably even better. And then slide it onto your main color. If you do this now, it's just going to fall off, so it's better to do it at the end. For these ones, you're going to slide a single black tiny bead onto a white band. If you don't have the tiny beads, just take a black elastic, wrap it around your hook twice, and then you can just kind of stretch it and wrap it around so it's gone around 4 times, and then slide it onto a single band. You want to prepare 9. This one is 4 green on a single band, a single neon. Again, if you want to use bands, just take a band and wrap it around and then slide it onto a single band. And you can use that. These ones, 4 green on double bands, 8 pink on double bands, and these are your 4mm. If you don't have, just take your color band that you would like to use, wrap it around so you have 4 loops, and then you want to slide it onto double bands. Now, if you are using the beads, and all you have to do is you need a piece of string. This is a string that you would make beaded bracelets. And you're going to, whether you're using the 2 bands or 1, which one you're doing, all you're going to do is thread your string through your bands, grab the other end, put the ends together, and then slide it through your bead, and then push, pull to the center, and that's how you do that. So this is what you want to prepare before we get started. Round 1 of the center crown, what we're going to do is 8 single crochets in the magic ring. So I'm going to take my first band, and I am using that fuchsia, and I'm going to wrap it around the bottom peg 3 times. 1, 2, and 3. Now you're going to pull 8 bands through, 1 at a time. So your first band, bring it through on your hook and bring your loop over. Bring it to the side. You're going to go back in to bring your second band through on your hook, so you have 3 loops. You're going to bring the top 2 over and bring it to the side. Go back in, bring your next band through on your hook, and then 2 loops over. Bring it to the side. And then you just want to keep repeating. 2 loops over. Make sure you're bringing it to the side. Go back in. On your hook. 2 loops over. And my last stitch, I'm going to bring through. And I'm going to attach my stitch marker to the band that's around my hook. Now I'm probably stretching this band. We're going to attach it to the band that's around your hook. Okay, the stitch marker is not working. It's closed. What is going on? Ah, there we go. Let's see, now if I stretch that band too much. Move your bands around and you should have 8 stitches. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, and 8 is on your hook. For round 2, we're going to add 2 bands to each chain. So the pattern is 2, 2, 2, 2 all the way around. At the end of round 2, you're going to have 16 stitches. So let's go in our first chain, and we're going to bring 2 bands through, one at a time. Back in. The next stitch with 2. 1. Go back in for your second band, 2. And you're just repeating on the next stitch with 2 bands. Back in. And just continue all the way to your stitch marker. Back in. The last one, back in. So again, you should have 16 stitches. Remove your stitch marker and add it to the band that's around your hook. For round 3, the pattern is 1, 2, 1, 2, 1, 2, all the way around. You're going to repeat this pattern 8 times. And at the end of round 3, you're going to have 24 stitches. So let's go in our first chain, which is a single crochet, adding 1 band. Chain 2, we're adding 2 bands, one at a time. Back in. Now you're going to repeat 1, 2. The next. Back in. And then repeat 1, 2. You're going to do this all the way to your stitch marker. Back in. So again, you should have 24 stitches. Remove your stitch marker and add it to the band that's around your hook. For rounds 4, 5, 6, and 7, you're adding 1 band to each chain. 1, 1, 1, 1, 1, all the way around. You're doing 24 single crochets. So at the end of each round, you should have 24 stitches. Each one of my piles has 24 elastics. So I'm going to do round 4 with you, and then you're going to pause the video to complete rounds 5, 6, and 7. So let's go on our first chain, not where it's getting pulled, and we're going to bring our first band through on our hook and slide. Now moving on to the next stitch, the same thing, 1 band through your chain on your hook and slide. And then just continue on to each chain until you get to the stitch marker. Oops. You have 24 stitches. You can remove your stitch marker, or I'm going to add another stitch marker so I can count my rounds in case I get distracted, and I'm just going to continue going around. So please pause the video and come back to me when you're done. For round 8, this is going to be the pattern. We're going to do 4 single crochets, so 1, 1, 1, 1, and then we're going to do an invisible decrease. So I'm going to add 2 bands. We're going to repeat this 4 times. So 4 single crochets followed by an invisible decrease, where we stitch normally 2 chains together, but this time every time we do an invisible decrease, we're doing a slip stitch in each chain. So I'll show you when we get there. We're going to go in the first 4 chains, 1, 2, 3, 4, with 1 band in each. So let's go on our first chain, not where it's getting pulled, and pull 1 band through. Chain 2 with 1 band. Chain 3 with 1 band, and chain 4 with 1 band. Now for our invisible decrease, we're doing a slip stitch in each of the next 2 chains here. So you're going to bring a band through on your hook and make a slip stitch, leave it on your hook, go to the next stitch and do the same thing, a slip stitch. So you have 3 loops on your hook, and now slide. Now let's repeat the pattern, 4 single crochets, 1, 2, 3, and 4. Now an invisible decrease, so 2 slip stitches, the next chain, You have 3 loops on your hook and slide. And now repeat again. And slide. You're going to repeat one more time. So I'm at the last 2 stitches. I'm going to do my invisible decrease. Leave it on your hook. And again. 3 stitches and slide. Now remove your stitch marker and add it to the band that's around your hook. And again, you should have 20 stitches. For rounds 9, 10, and 11, we're going to do 20 single crochets. So that's adding 1 band. 1, 1, 1, 1, 1, all the way around. Each pile I have 20 bands, so at the end of each round you're going to have 20 stitches. I'm going to do round 9 with you, and then you're going to pause the video and come back to me when you're done round 10 and 11. So let's go on our first chain, not where it's getting pulled, and you're bringing 1 band through. The next stitch with 1 band. And the next with 1. All the way until you get to the stitch marker. When you're done the round, it's up to you if you want to add another stitch marker. I always do, just in case, because I don't like unpicking these bands if I do too many. So you can add another stitch marker or remove your stitch marker to add around the band that's around your hook. So pause the video and come back to me when you're done. For round 12, this is our last round for the inside part of our crown. The pattern is 1, 2, 1, 2, 1, 2. You're going to repeat this 10 times. So you're going to do a single crochet followed by an increase. So that's, we're going to start in our, at the end of this round, you're going to have 30 stitches. So we're going to start in our first chain, not where it's getting pulled, and you're adding 1 band. So you're doing 1 single crochet. Oops. Now on chain 2, you're adding the 2 bands. So we're increasing on every second stitch. So just go back in that same chain to add your second band. And then you're going to repeat 1, 2. 1 single crochet, next chain with an increase. If I didn't already say, your last band, you're doing a slip knot to tie it closed. Go back in for your second band. and then just repeat 1, 2. You're going to do this all the way until you get to the stitch marker. Back in and repeat. So I'm at the last chain. I'm adding 2 bands. This is my first one. Back in for my second one, and I'm going to do a slip knot to tie it close. So we're going to bring it through all of the chains that are on my hook, grab the end, and tie it off. So you should have 30 stitches. You can remove your stitch marker, and you want to put this to the side. Now round 1 of the bottom base, so this is the white part, we're going to do a chain of 28. So you can see there's 10, 20, and 8. You're going to use double bands to make this chain. So we're going to start off with our cap band, and we're going to start off with 2. With your hook, you're going to wrap this around twice. So 1 and 2. Now you're going to make a chain of 28 double bands. So you're just going to grab 2 bands and make that chain. Bring it through on your hook. So this is what you have. And then just continue. Make sure you're using double bands. So that was a chain of 10. Just keep going. So I'm at a chain of 20, and now 8 more times. So now I have a chain of 28 double bands. For round 2, this is the pattern. We're going to attach our chain together and then we're going to single crochet around. So this is what it's going to look like. You're going to do 3 single crochets and then you're going to repeat. The first 2 single crochets, you're adding 2 bands at a time. So that would be 1, 2, and then you're adding your bead. So we're going to repeat that 9 times. It's going to continue over here. I had no more room in the camera frame here. So we're going to repeat that 9 times. The last time with our single band here, we're just going to do a slip knot to tie it closed. So let me get started. I'm going to attach the chain. So I'm going to put my hook through those 2 bands that we did a cap band originally. So you should have 4 loops on your hook there from that cap band. So total 8. Make sure it's not twisted. And I'm going to bring my first 2 bands through all of the loops that are on my hook at the exact same time. Grab the end and slide. Now I'm going to attach my stitch marker just so you can see where I'm at. So that's up to you if you want to do the exact same thing. Now normally I would reverse, but this time I'm just going to go and crochet normally around. So let's go on our first chain. Make sure that you're not going where it's getting pulled, and you're going to go to the next one. So I'm going to go through the center of the chain here, so right on top here. So you can see I'm not going through here, I'm not going through here, I'm going through the center. So the top part, I mean, of the chain. Now I'm going to bring my 2 bands through the chain on my hook and slide. Now the next, you're going to go in the same direction right at the top here. So if you put it flat, and I'm going to bring my bead through. And slide. Now you're going to continue the pattern. First single crochet, first single crochet with 2 bands. The next stitch with 2 bands. Make sure you're grabbing the 2 bands. This is what it looks like so far. And the next stitch with your bead. And repeat. Bringing those 2 bands through. So you can see that now my chain is turning, so I'm making sure, so if you were still to put it flat, I'm still going through the top, which now looks like it's kind of like the center. And you're going to continue. Now we're going to continue on this side. So this is where I'm at. I'm going to do 2 single crochets, and then the last chain where my stitch marker is, I'm just going to do a slip knot to tie it closed. So right where my stitch marker was, my first chain, so I'm doing a slip knot. So I'm going to bring my band through all of the loops that are on my hook, grab the end and tie it off and give it a tug. Now I'm going to leave my stitch marker there so you can see where I'm at. Now we're going to sew around and attach the bottom base. What I want you to do with the top part, we're going to turn it inside out. So flip it like that. Now we're going to put this right on top. Where my stitch marker is going to be the top. If you don't have the stitch marker on there, what you want to do is where you see the double loops and that single loop, double, 2 loops, 2 loops, 1 loop. That's the top. You want to line up your slip knots, so back to back. So it really doesn't matter, you just want that kind of in the back. And then you can start somewhere around the back. What I'm going to do is I'm going to do 30 single crochets. I'm using my neon orange color, so whatever color you want for the top base here, the top part. Now I'm going to grab the inside loop of the white and then the whole chain of the pink. So start somewhere in the back. I'm going to start chain to chain. That was my cap band. This is my slip knot. So I'm just going to start chain to chain. So I'm going to grab the inside loop only of the white, so the one that's facing the center. I'm going to sew around this way, so I'm going to start on the other side. Chain to chain, inside and a chain. And I'm going to go around, making sure that you're grabbing the white, then the pink. I'm going to bring my band through and I'm going to do a single crochet. Now you're going to go to the next chain right beside it, white inside loop. You don't want to grab the whole chain, just the inside and then all of the white. And do a single crochet through your chains on your hook and slide. And then the next one, and you're going to do this all the way around. Make sure that you're not missing any of the chains. So you can see this is what it looks like so far. I'm right beside the stitch, my slip knot. And I'm going to go on the other side, and I'm going to go through 2 of the loops. It really doesn't matter, but I'm going to go through just 2 of the loops of that cap band that we did, kind of to make the effect of the inside loop. So I'm at the cap band, and I'm just going to try to grab 2 loops, and I'm going to do a slip knot to tie this closed. So I'm going to bring my band through all of the loops. And give it a tug. So this is what you should have so far. Now what we're going to do is sew along the top part, and I'm just going to catch the white. So now you're going to see I'm only going to catch the inside loop only too on the top. So you're going to use 30 bands, so you're doing 30 single crochets, and you want to start somewhere at the back. So I'm going to start right beside my slip stitch, and I'm going to go through just the inside loop only. So here's the whole chain, just grabbing the inside loop. And I'm going to bring my first band through on my hook and slide. The next chain, just the inside loop, so the one facing here first, and bring your band through. You should only be at the bead, so it only has 1 band, and then you're going to notice that you're grabbing 2 bands for the next 2 chains for your inside loop. And then when you hit the bead, you're only grabbing 1 little loop. When you get to the end, you're not doing a slip stitch. I'm going to show you our slip knot. I'm going to show you what you're going to do. Actually, we are going to do a slip knot. I changed my mind. Open it up if you can't see where your inside loop is. And what I'm going to do with my last band is I'm going to make this a continuous round. So I'm going to make it an even circle. So I'm going to take my last band and go through where I started, bring it through all of my loops and tie it off. And just have this closed now. Now we're going to do our first strand. I'm going to start off with a single band, and I'm going to show you where to put that in a second. Then we're going to make a chain of 17. In the chain, every 5th stitch, we're adding a bead that has the 2 bands. So on my 5th stitch on my chain, I'm adding my pink. On my 10th, I'm adding the green with 2 bands. And then on my 15th part of the chain, I'm adding the pink that has the 2 bands. And then a chain with 2 more. When I get here, I'm going to be at the top, and I'm going to show you what to do with that when we get there. So right now what I'm going to do is I'm going to grab the chain on either side of my slip stitch on the white. Sorry, I'm just going to grab the top chains. So the inside loop, you want to grab that, and the other side. So it's just the top loops. Now I'm going to bring my single band through both of the loops and put it on my hook, just like that. Now I'm going to do the chain. So that was chain 1, we're going to call it, chain 2, chain 3. You wouldn't believe how nervous I am trying to teach this design. Chain 4, and then chain 5, you're adding the bead, and this is going to be the tricky part. Bring it through and on your hook. Now you need to push this bead into the center of this chain. So what we want to do is you want to bring, you don't need a hook. What you want to do is bring these 2 loops over so you can bring that bead inside. So bring it over, and you're just pushing the bead to the center. So I brought it in the center of the chain here. Now we're going to do another chain of 5. So on my 10th stitch, I'm adding my green. Now the green, the same thing as we just did with the pink. Bring it through on your hook, and you want to bring these 2 little loops over. So you're just bringing that green bead to the center. Now we're going to do another chain of 5, adding this pink on our 15th stitch. And again, bring your 2 little loops over. And we're going to make a chain of 2 more. So this is what you should have. You want to grab two of the stitches. So 1 and 2, sorry, right below your magic ring. So keeping an eye of where you are, you want to make sure that you nicely grab 2 stitches. So you want to grab 1 and 2. You want to remove this end off your hook and grab 2 stitches. Put your end back on your hook, and you're going to bring a single band through all the chains to make another chain with a single band. Let me try again. Bring your single band through and make a chain. Making sure that it's nice and straight. Now you're going to take a single band and make a chain on your hook. Now I'm going to grab 2 stitches right below the magic ring. So I'm going to grab these 2 stitches. So I'm going to take my end off of my hook, grab the 2 stitches on the other side of your magic ring and put your loop back on. Bring a single band through all of those loops. And it should look like this. Now for our next strand. For the other side, we're going straight across. We are going to do the chain, but we're going to count backwards. So this is our 17th stitch, our chain, 16, 15, and all the way backwards. So our beads, our 2 bands with the pink is on the 15th chain. Our green with 2 bands is on our 10th chain. And our pink with 2 bands is on our 5th chain. So we're just doing the exact same thing, we're just counting backwards. We're going to tie a slip knot at the end, just as we started on this side. So let's go with 2 chains, double bands. So just making it even with the other strand, the same way as we did, just counting backwards. Now to add the pink bead, bring it through on your hook, and you have to bring those 2 little loops over. So it's in the center. So this would be our 14th stitch. Chain 13. Chain 12, chain 11, and our chain 10 with a green bead. Bring it through to the center, those 2 little loops over, and continue. Now chain with 4 more. So this is what you should have. If you kind of go this way to see, you'll see that these are in the same spot. So now we want to make sure that we're not going over here, we're going straight down so that it's even, and you want to be even with this side too. So looking at it, you want to be the same. So I'm going to grab 2 stitches and do a slip knot. So if you really want to, I mean, you could fold this in half with this being at the end, and you'll see 2 stitches. You just want to go through 1 stitch, on the white. You want to grab the white, the inside loop only. So there's 1, and there's another, but we're going to have to, take this off our hook, grab the white, the inside, put this back on our hook, just so it's not twisted, and bring your band through. To do a slip knot, and just as I'm here, you're going to see my slip knots on the other side. I'm just going to bring it through the chains here in the center just to bring it to the back, and then later on you can hide them. But just to show you. So you want to make sure and check it out to make sure that it's even. And all this fixing we can do later, just organizing and moving the bands around. There's not too much fixing involved. Boop. Now for our third strand, we're going to do the exact same thing as we did with our first strand. We're going to grab 2 chains on the white and bring a single band through. Then we're going to do a chain of 17, 15, 16, 17. That just did not happen. Chain of 17. On chain 5, you're adding the pink band, the pink bead with the 2 bands, the green with the 2 bands on chain 10, and then chain 15, the pink with 2 bands. Then chain 2 more, single band, single band, single band, catching on the top. So let's find a spot evenly. We're grabbing the inside loop of the white. We want to fold it in half, putting our chains together, and I'm going to grab the inside loop of the 2 white bands. And bring my single band through, and then I'll start making a chain. So leave it on your hook. I'm going to start making the chain. On my 5th, I'm adding the pink. So this would be 1 and 2, 3, don't count your single, 1, 2, 3, 4, and then 5 with your pink bead. On your hook, bring your bands over and continue. Green. Bring your 2 loops over to the center. And again. Now your pink bead. Bring your loop over, and then a chain with 2 more. So there's my chain. Now we're going to do the same thing as we did before, and you want to grab 2 of the stitches. You want to try. So if I have to, I'm going to turn and fix my band so that my chain is the same, and I'm going to put my hook through these 2 chains. But I have to take my end off, hold it, and go through the 2 chains right beside. So there's my magic circle. Put my end back on, and you're going to bring a single band through all of those loops to continue with your chain. Now my second band, I'm going to do a chain. And my third band, I'm going to grab the other side of the magic circle. So I'm going to try to grab 2 of the stitches. I have to take my end off, hold it, my magic circle, and I'm going to grab 2 of the stitches. Put my end back on. So my magic circle is right here, so I'm right below. And bring your band through and then just check your work to make sure that everything is straight and your strands are nice and even. As best as you can do it. For round 4, our last strand, our 4th strand, we're just counting backwards. So we're starting at chain 17 because we're at the top. So we're going to do 2 chains and then the bead. So just follow the pattern, and then we're going to end up doing a slip knot again on the 2 chains, the inside loop of the white. So you're just going to do the exact same thing as we did on round 2 of the strands. So a chain with 2. So just counting down 17, 16, bead 15, and then just continue. Bring your loop over. So there's my chain. Again, if you put them even, you're going to see that the beads line up. Now we have to find a spot on the white where to grab. So I'm just going to fold this in half, and I'm going to see my 2 little loops, and I'm going to grab just the inside. But I need to take this end off my hook. Sorry, I always forget. You need to take the end off your hook and then grab the 2 loops on either side of the white. Put your end back on, and bring a band through and do a slip knot. Bring it through everything, grab the end and tie it off. And again, I'm just going to go through the back here of my last chain and bring the slip knot through it, just so it will hide later better, because if you hide it this way, it's going to be on top and it's going to be noticeable. Why not fix if you can? So now we will do the top part and finish off our crown. So don't worry about fixing, I'm just trying to show you what it looks like, because when you work on the top, you're just going to squash everything again down, so there's no point. So now we're going to make the strands at the top. You're going to make 2 the same, and these 2 are going to be the same. So these are, this is the pattern for each one. So our first one, what we're going to do is put it on our hook, both ends, just like that, and we're going to make a chain of 3 with double bands, and then end it with a single band. So you're just making a chain. So these are the bands with the beads with the single band. And now you're going to slide this onto a single band. Put on your hook. Now if you have something that you can save this on, like a toothpick or a skewer, you can put that on, or try to remove it carefully and place it down gently and put it to the side. You're going to repeat another one. So you have to make 2 on your hook, a chain of 3 with double bands, and then slide it onto a single band, and then remove carefully or store it on something for later. Now our last 2 is we're going to put this on our hook, and then the next 3 chains is a single band and doubled. So give it a stretch, a twist, and a double. And slide it 2 more times. One more time. And we're going to slide this onto a single band. And remove for later. And you're going to repeat 1 more time on your hook. 3 times single band, doubled. Oh, the last one, my bad. The last one is just a single band and slide through. I'm sorry. So you can put these ones to the side. Now we're going to start on our top part of the crown, so up here. And I'm going to do 8 single crochets around. Where you grab is important. So pick a strand. You're going to find your strand with 2 bands. Then your next strand has 1 band. Each side is going to be a single crochet on each side. So this is going to be my first. I'm going to grab the 2 little loops on either side, and this is my first stitch. Then I'm going to grab the other side, and that's going to be my second single crochet. The same thing, go around to the other one, find your 2 bands, and the one with the single is going to be your next stitch. So let's start. There's my chain of 2 bands. I'm going to go to the next one with 1 band and bring my band through and slide. Right beside that, so it's the exact same band that we're using, just one side, and slide. Now to the next strand, give it a little pull. Here's your chain with 2 bands. You're finding your next one with 1 band, and this is your 3rd stitch. The other side, that same strand, the next strand, pull it. There's your one with the 2 bands. And here is your next one. That's that single band. And on the other side of that same strand, next strand, you want to grab the 2 little loops, the other side of that strand with your last band. Now attach your stitch marker to the band that's around your hook, and let's count our stitches. Here you're going to have your little slip knot, so that's not your stitch. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, and 8 is on your hook. For round 2, for the top part, you're going to see this is my pattern. I'm using the longer strand, so this is the shorter one. I'm using the two longer ones. The strands represent a single crochet. So I'm going to add 1, 1 strand, 1, 1, 1 strand, 1, and then remove my stitch marker. So make sure that you don't go where your slip knot is. You're going in your first chain and you're adding 1 band. Chain 2, you're adding 1 band. Chain 3 is a strand. Now with the extension pieces, I like to grab on the left, bring it through, turn my strand around and grab the other end, just so it stays nice and it doesn't twist. That's up to you, trial and error. Now I'm going to do 3 single crochets. My second last stitch, I'm adding a strand. So I put the bead down facing the bottom, grab the left side, hold the right side in my hand, bring it through, and then bring the right side on my hook and slide. Now one more stitch where your stitch marker is. Do a single crochet. You should still have 8 stitches. Remove your stitch marker and add it to the band that's around your hook. For round 3, we're just going to go around and do 8 single crochets, and now adding our shorter strand on every 4th stitch. You're just repeating this twice. So let's go in our first chain, not where it's getting pulled. Single crochet, bring it through. The next stitch, again, 1 band, single crochet. The 3rd stitch. And the 4th, you're adding your strand, face bottom, grab the left side, bring it through. Grab the right side and slide. Next stitch, you're starting again, repeating. And where your stitch marker is, you can remove your stitch marker and add it to the band that's around your hook. For round 4, this is the pattern. We're going to make this round smaller, and at the end of round 4, you're going to have 6 stitches. So the pattern is 1, 1, followed by an invisible decrease. So 2 single crochets followed by an invisible decrease. So I'm adding an extra band. You're going to repeat this one more time. So let's start. We're going to go in our first chain, not where it's getting pulled, and we're going to do 1 single crochet. Our next chain with 1 band, single crochet. Now for our invisible decrease. Go in your stitch. You're going to do a slip stitch and leave it on your hook. So you have 2 loops. Go in your next chain, same thing, a slip stitch, leave it on your hook so you have 3 stitches, and slide. I just stitched 2 stitches together. So now you're going to repeat 2 single crochets, 1, the next chain, 2. Now I have 2 chains left. Let's stitch those together. So I'm going in my second last to do a slip stitch, leave it on my hook, going in the last chain, slip stitch, and on your hook, 3 loops and slide. Whoop. not slide out, slide, slide. You should have 6 stitches. Remove your stitch marker and add it to the band that's around your hook. So round 5, our last round, we're going to close this off and I'm going to do 3 invisible decreases. Then I'm going to attach my bead and completely close it off. So for the invisible decrease, I'm adding an extra band. This is where if you don't have the bead, you can use 4 gold bands wrapped around a single band and do the exact same thing that I'm doing. You do a slip knot to tie it closed. So at your end, okay, maybe when I get there, I'll show you. What we're going to do is we're going to grab the first 2 stitches and we're going to stitch together. I'm doing the invisible decrease, so I'm doing my slip stitch, leave it on my hook, the next slip stitch on my hook and slide. Again, repeat, 2 slip stitches, 1 on the next, and slide. And the last 2 stitches, my invisible decrease, and slide. Now you can remove this stitch marker. You just want to close it off by going straight across. So you could remove this. Now I will do the bead in a second. If you don't have the bead, you can take 4 bands, 2 bands, 1 band, it's up to you, and wrap it twice so you have something bigger and bring it through. And you're going to just tie it off by doing a slip knot or whatever you'd like. You can just tie this off, secure it by going into another stitch. Now let me just undo this, putting this back on my hook. I'm going straight across. And I'm going to bring my bead through all of the loops, grab the end, slide as if you're doing a slip knot, and you want to secure this by just wrapping it around. And then you can just fix up your crown. You want to hide all those slip knots that you have hanging out still. And you want to nicely fix each one of the chains. For the slip knots, same thing as you would normally do. I'm going to go in, grab, bring it in and hide. I'm going to grab my slip knot here. And then you can just continue to hide. Same thing with the other side. And the pink. And you can neatly do that all the way around. And you just want to make sure that everything is nice and neat. And it's done. I hope you enjoyed Looming with Cheryl. Please subscribe down below, and I'll see you next time with another. Bye for now.